Alright guys, welcome back to Our World Outdoors. Now today we are doing our second year NCT Hike 100 Challenge closeout video. So, before we even start, 2020's been something, guys. I mean, I don't think we in our lifetime have ever experienced anything like this. And I don't even know where to begin or end with that statement. But the NCT wasn't going to have it. They weren't going to just roll over and give up. They wanted all of us to still pursue our fitness, pursue our health, pursue the striving to get the 100 miles in. So they actually stepped in and said all miles count. It doesn't matter whether you're walking back and forth in your living room, walking around your backyard, your local trails. It doesn't matter. All miles count. And I think it's amazing that they would step up and set up that kind of thing just to keep the momentum going, not to let the year kill it. We personally didn't partake in that. That was just our own personal choosing, and there was moments we thought we weren't going to make it just because of how the shutdowns were going and everything that has happened. But we ended up pulling it off, couple big trips to really slam it there at the end. And I am very glad that we held off and did it that way.
One thing about the NCT in Ohio is there is a lot of trails that are off the beaten path. I mean, they're not traveled real often, so you get to see a lot of things that other people are not taking the time to see or not taking the time to hike. A lot of great places out there.
Yeah, and I mean, even the fact that we cherry pick a lot of ours to try to get back roads or try to get in the woods, it still comes to a point where you don't see anybody, especially if you do your hours correctly and your days correctly. And that's something we'll go more into as we talk about our plans for next year later in the video. But for now, I'm going to let my lovely wife open this. Now, when you complete your NCT Hike 100 challenge, they will send you a certificate and a patch to show that you've completed it. Basically, you're patching out. This being our second year, we were extremely excited to finish this up and get these in.
Look, they put me on the top.
Because she's got to be the star.
That must be, this is Apollo's.
Apollo's, really? So, as you can see, we each got our certificate of completion. It may just seem like a piece of paper, but to us it means that, you know, we followed through and completed something in the worst year of our lives, essentially. Now, granted, we don't look at this year as the worst year of our life because we've had a lot of very good ups come through this year, weight loss and other things.
They sent us stickers this year.
Hey, I like that. I'm going to put one of these on the truck.
Ready to see the patch?
I am ready to see the patch.
All right.
Wow.
2020 NCT patch.
Look at that. That thing's huge. I like that.
That's nice.
So, that's what it looks like. You know,
and they send all this out free. Like, there's nothing that you have to do other than go on the website and sign up. And then report whenever you finish your miles.
Yeah, and they don't go heavily into it. They ask you just to give the miles that you hiked, and they're not gonna follow up with you. This is based on, you know, them wanting you to get out and enjoy nature and enjoy the trail. And I will be honest, we thoroughly enjoyed it. Now here in Ohio, the NCT coincides with the Buckeye Trail. So once again, we also have to thank the Buckeye Trail Association who maintains those trails and puts in a lot of hard work to keep it maintained. And they're still out there doing it even in the pandemic. So we went through some places that you could tell there was days and days and days of service done where there was huge blowdowns, you know, I'm talking miles down the trail. And you can see they've just been out there forever working on it, especially down in the Marietta unit, where, you know, we got into some real backwoods stuff. Now, we would encourage everyone, and we encouraged a lot of people this year, and because of the situation, because of health concerns, a lot of people were not able to complete their NCT Hike 100 this year. If you didn't finish, go again next year. Don't give up. You can do this. We have faith in you. We know that you can do it. And even if you don't complete it next year, keep going, keep trying. Don't give up. Because when you do finally finish it, it'll give you that much more sense of accomplishment. But at least you can set out the year and know that you went out and you made an effort. And you got out the trail. I mean, you're rewarding yourself just by challenging yourself because you're going out there and doing it. I myself think we're going to go again next year. That's currently my thinking.
Yes.
Now, Apollo's thirsty. So, our mindset is that we kind of have jaded the look of how you can do the NCT in Ohio somewhat. And a lot of thru hikers of the Buckeye Trail will tell you we jaded it some because we have picked units where they're beautiful trails or beautiful back roads or cool things to see, and they're not very urban. The truth is, the trail does run through some urban areas. And I think we'd kind of personally like to see what it would be like to thru hike the Buckeye Trail by doing some miles in those more urban areas. Maybe it's going to be where we're doing a 15 or 20 mile stretch through a city, in and out of a city. And maybe there's no place to camp in there, so you got to go to a hotel. Things like that. Just change it up. Completely different from what our normal standards are doing. Which maybe will produce a great video, maybe it won't, but it'll produce reality of what it's like to thru hike the Buckeye Trail in case we ever do choose to do so. I mean, we'll never probably straight through hike it, but we might section hike it in the future since we already have such a large percentage of it done. So be on the lookout next year as we kind of make a new adaptation. I mean, obviously some people may not enjoy watching us have to bum around in town smelling really bad and going into hotels to stay the night and eating ramen bombs out of a hotel room. But then again, maybe some will. Maybe it'll give you a more respect for the guys that do thru hike the Buckeye Trail, because I can tell you those guys, they suffer fest sometimes when they do that. But we have really enjoyed the NCT.
What was your favorite place that you hiked this year for the NCT?
I most enjoyed our 30 miles, which was obviously more than we needed, down at Archer's Fork, our overnight.
I don't know who was doing the mapping on that.
But that said, I enjoyed that part just because of the time we spent together and how we spent it. It was grinding miles, but we didn't look at it like that. We were just like, it'll take as long as it takes. We weren't hurrying. So we had some great conversations, and just really it was a wonderful 2 days of just spending time together. And it also taught us that doing these in bigger chunks is a lot more fun in some ways and not as fun in others.
And that every time you go out and hike to do an overnight, it's not always going to turn out the way that you want it to.
No.
Because we had planned to camp there at the trailhead that night.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to sleep in the back of the CRV.
Yeah. And go to another trailhead because it was so packed at that trailhead.
But, you learn to adapt. You learn that, sometimes these things happen.
Yeah. And that makes it more interesting. That makes it fun if you roll with the punches. If you let it frustrate you, it can sink a trip like that. I mean, it really can.
And I want to encourage all of our friends who have furry friends that hike the trails with them to sign their furry friend up for the challenge, because the NCT actually recognizes your pets and will send them a certificate or a tag, or I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they get some sort of an award too.
Yep.
Which is pretty awesome.
So if you've got a furry friend that wants to accompany you, and they even will count it if you have to carry them. So if you've got some little furry friends that are a little aged and can't make it, you just put them in the front pouch and take them with you. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing better though than going on a hike and being able to take your best friend with you, four-legged friend with you, and then have them be recognized and awarded too. So whether they may not fully understand it, you can give them a big fat bone, but you'll know they went and did it with you, and it just makes memories. And it does count for any of your children as well, if you want to take some of your children with you. And if you live in Ohio, or if you live anywhere that has the NCT, we would recommend doing this. This can be done in 2 miles at a time, or you can do the whole 100 straight through. It doesn't matter. They will take it in any increment that possibly can happen. Now, I do not know what their terms are for next year yet, whether they're going to do miles anywhere or what's going to happen, but that would be something you can go check out their website to find out.
Okay.
So that said, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We are going to try to pursue this next year based on what happens in the world, you know, but we are going to try and do it in a different kind of way. So
which I'm looking forward to that. We've never really did hikes like that.
Until we walk into places and people are like, you guys look homeless. What's wrong with you?
They're like, you want a room?
So be looking for some crazy, innovative videos based on getting some NCT miles next year.
And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a comment down below and hit that thumbs up.
And make sure you refer back and see all of these videos if you missed any of our this year's NCT hike videos, because they are amusing to say the least.
Yes, they are. And honey,
we will see you up the trail. I stole your line.